guys. Since yesterday.
Chapter 1, season 3 about epic hunting for people to create cinematic stories and movies using like some of the best cinematic would actually win a 30-minute the epic video game. Fortnite purchase great for their setup, including Viva. So cool, but I don't think Epic is gonna ever do this again. Things that I don't
Let me just get chat a bit further down. And then test it. Boom. Chat isn't working. Chat is working now.
Yes, chat.
Like very strong, just never coming back. One thing that I'm glad is that
Chat is there.
Back then, there were less servers, and when it first came out, they were totally stolen. You couldn't even play video event. And anything that gaming, people could easily do it with their friends that being things. There were times where Dakota was playing, and every single match you ran into gamers and
Alright.
more servers and squads to be able to play with their friends and that.
Okay.
The reality is the POI is a little bit outdated. They ever went back to the DOD creation and
Let's start a poll.
there hasn't changed. The Fortnite players obsession with rare cosmetics. And then, some rare cosmetics were distributed via codes that Epic would send out for gift at different events. And so this really created a little bit of if people would sell these cosmetics, people would think they now there's no rare cosmetics with factory codes because Epic never give that code. It's sent directly to content creators. You know, that would be and if you're a real OG player, if you remember something on
Can we do it later? Can we do it later? Go play later. Can we play later? Can we play later? Can we play later?
Remember the soccer stadium POI that they switched back to chapter 1. When they first tackled the POI, it was kind of fun because players could do it and it looked like
Chat.
never returning to number 21. Special and getting a heads up for things extremely that something that never felt special and just felt completely flat.
Zach, it's in 14 minutes.
I will search up FSCS.
Now search up Fortnite competitive. Go on the channel and search up, and then click. So search Fortnite competitive. And then just go on the live stream that has EU Group 1 in it. It's in live. Yeah, Zach.
Wait, it's called FNCS Major.
FNCS Major 1 EU Group 1.
Let's take a look at a few teams that you need to be able to look at.
It's this. Zach, wait, let me just bring this down. It's this.
What I gotta do with him and
Chat. It's starting. Chat, it's starting.
Is it's working now?
Oh, it's on.
This is good, guys. It's on.
It's on. FNCS has started. And we have to wait another 14 minutes. Yes! This is great, chat. We have to wait another 14 minutes.
This is like the best thing ever in a...
Yeah, you have to wait an extra 13 minutes. 14.
Like,
Well,
is that sharp spam?
a lot of people.
Wait, what will it?
Probably
Wait,
quite.
it must be like... It shows different people like every second or something.
Not every second. It'll show a bunch of people here. This is Europe FNCS.
Will it say the names?
Yeah, it will. It's kind of like replay mode.
Yeah, which we can't
13
choose who
minutes.
we want to.
It's showing all POIs. Plot of interest. There's thingy
Beat
thing.
that one. Well, that's the football bit, that messy bit.
Oh, that's the basketball.
That's football, so yeah, basketball, football.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
football. That's Yellow Slake, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. Right, Magic Mosses last night.
But watching this will be good, because if we watch this, we know where some good spots are, where all the people are going, so we know where some good spots are.
Yeah. Like last year, FNCS, I watched it and they went like. There were two places. There was that one place with the big factory in Nitro. Oh, what's this? Group 1 starting on February 7th. Broadcast schedule. Got it. Those are the dates we're streaming, chat. Take note.
Put a video on. Or maybe stream if you get to the subscribers.
I mean, you don't actually have to get 50 subscribers if you're streaming on PC. Or using
Oh, yeah?
this. Like, if you're setting your stream up on the PC, you don't need to have 50 subs.
Oh, bet, so I'm going to stop recording now.
Are you gonna stream?
Yeah.
I don't know
Where
if
it
you-
says URL and stream key are missing.
URL. Just ask
Yeah.
your dad. Ask your dad.
Uh,
It's in settings. Day 1 and 2, 10 matches each.
oh yeah, I'll have to come down to eat for one.
No, yeah, that's what they ready for that.
Pardon?
Something to do what ready for that. Oh, yeah.
Let's try to qualify this.
Get to stream, because like I said, if you didn't have PC, you don't need to just have to do a stream. Because look, it literally says stream there. This is not in YouTube. That don't know.
I don't understand what you mean.
So basically, I'm pressing start stream. Let's join this, and it says, so
Yeah, you have to connect it to your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Pardon?
This isn't connected to your YouTube channel,
And
10
but
minutes.
it needs to
chat.
be.
FNCS in 2025
Oh.
is here, and with it comes a switch
Oh,
from
what's this?
duos to trios for competitive play. Let's
Sorry,
take a
I
look
have
at a
no
few teams
idea.
that you need to be on the lookout for in both EU and NA Central. The first team, and the team that's certainly been first in a lot of events this season, is Veno, Vico, and Flixie. Since coming together in duos for Major 3 last year, Vico and Flixie have performed exceptionally well, winning that major and placing 4th at Globals.
Yep.
Now with the addition of one of EU's finest players in Veno, this trio have been unstoppable. with 2 first-place finishes in weekly finals this season and not placing outside of 4. With this terrific trio now situated at one of the best drop spots on the map, Flooded Frogs, and with them being the most consistent team in Europe, it's easy to see why they're the favourites to win it all this season. FNCS veterans Tayson and Trulex tried out a couple of options for trio mates this season, however have eventually settled on Trulex's good friend, Chicho. Since coming together, this trio from the Balkans have placed 6th and 5th in weekly finals and look very strong, as their drop spot of Foxy Floodgate give them perfect access to the centre of the map, allowing this team to base up to Storm Surge tags, like we know Trulex's teams have always loved to do. Widely regarded as the GOAT of Fortnite, Tayson will be looking to rekindle some of that success that he had in trios previously, as the back end of the Duos era won't be one that he'll be looking back on too fondly. But you can never count out a player of his caliber, and with the way that this trio are playing and the experience of all 3, they have to be considered one of the finest in the region this season. The iconic invitational winners Cami and Seti have picked up fellow Polish player Chari
on YouTube, you
for
have to
this
sign
season.
in as well.
Although Chari
on
hasn't had the same
on the
success as
website.
Cami and Seti over the years, he's been consistently making grand finals, most notably with Giraz, so it's clear to see why he's joined the
Like
team.
I'm doing.
This season has been
Then you have to
incredibly
pick
solid for the
live.
trio, with 3 top 3 finishes in weekly finals, including 1 first place. The main competition for them so far has been the French trio of Akira, X-Squeeze and Podesai, fighting off Spawn at Lost Lake. While currently it seems like the Polish boys have been dominating pretty much entirely, historically, Cami and Seti haven't performed as well whenever they're contested in grand finals. Let's see if the shift in game mode and the addition of Chari is the key to changing that going into the first major of 2025. Now let's hop across the pond to NA, and one player that's quite literally done just that is Vidil, now playing with Cooper and Sphinx. At the beginning of the season, Vidil struggled to find a team, so decided to go to NA to find more success. Although Cooper and Sphinx have had some solid performances with Noxie, they also decided to switch it up. This decision seems to have paid dividends so far, as since coming together they placed 2nd, 5th and 2nd again in the weekly finals. And the synergy between Cooper and Vidil when it comes to fragging has been excellent to watch so far. As for Sphinx, although he's had less overall success than Vidil and Cooper, he is proving to be an excellent IGL and helping to keep this team on track for success. Look out for these guys at Masked Meadows this season. After the most dominant year in competitive Fortnite history with Poyo, Peter Bot is back and picking up exactly where he left off with new teammates Cold and Ritual.
Well.
Since getting together this season,
this
they've
isn't
won
the
every
first-
single
this is only day
weekly
1.
final. More often than not, with a 100-point
You can just do a
margin,
video.
and are widely regarded as the best team in NA at the moment. The way that they're doing this is similar to how Peterbot operated before, landing at the best drop spot on the map and dominating from there on out, with high eliminations propelling them through the match. Currently, much like Veno's trio, they feel that Flooded Frogs is the best drop spot, with its incredible loot, materials, and early surge opportunities. However, with this team still
but
winning
might
earlier
be
weeks,
in
landing
it.
at brutal
Depends
box
if he
cars,
qualifies.
it shows that this team
Oh, yeah,
have
he's
the
in it.
skill, experience, and versatility to take it all home. Finally, onto what is likely to be a fan favorite
still
team this
Peter Bot
season,
player?
Clicks, Batman Booger, and
Love to see.
Eomzo. This is a team that'll have a lot of eyes on them to perform, as Clicks always does. And he in particular will be looking to break that
Clicks and
4th
Peter
place
Bot.
curse, take home his first FNCS title, and fulfill his potential. Batman
Yeah, that's
Booger will be
another
looking to pick up
experience.
where he left off in duos after a
I just
breakthrough
left
year
Poyo.
with Rapid. And Eomzo will be looking to
Nah,
bring the firepower
Poyo's
that we
someone
know
else
he
from
can,
here.
but
Poyo's
hadn't quite
someone
seen to the fullest during Chapter 5. As for performances so far, it's looking good
Oh
for this
my
trio,
gosh, it's-
as since coming together for
is
week
the
5,
two
they managed a
past
2nd place in
FNCS
Opens and a
champions.
5th in the weekly finals.
I
This,
mean, it's
combined with
all
their
three
solid drop
past
spot of
FNCS
Lost Lake,
champions
make
teaming.
this trio an exciting prospect, and one that fans will be watching closely. Let's hope they can bring the heat in grand finals. With so
So
many
it's
teams to
Peter
look out for,
Clicks,
it's impossible for us to fit
and
them all into
Booger
one video.
in a team.
So let us know down below which teams you're excited about going to this season's FNCS. And we'll see you very soon for the start of Major 1.
Yes.
What's that?
4 minutes. Clicks is in it. Booger's in it. Peterbot's in it. It's a lot of people.
Who's he called?
Hoya?
No, yeah, New Zealand.
Dunno.
Wait, is Mr. Savage in it?
Huh?
Is Mr. Savage in it? That's the guy I was showing.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I love to either be here. I love to either be a Fortnite FCS player, or I love to go and watch Shell Out Live.
Yeah, same. Or both. Oh, what's this? Lobby list.
What's this? Activity to the.
We'll have to just see them.
What is clicks? I'm trying to find clicks.
Clicks isn't on this part. There's multiple pages probably.
That's in Europe. Clicks are on Europe. Is American.
Oh yeah. That's the American one's at 9 tonight.
What is it? Europe FCS.
Yeah, this is Europe. Ain't gonna be in this.
Well, like Europe, like America, Asia, and all them together.
Yeah, a lot of people in different countries come to because there's EU and there's EU, Europe, and there's NAC.
Watching the Europe one.
Probably same.
And then I'll just watch like the full one when it gets like full.
I'm only watching Europe. And then just the day after, I'll just watch the NAC one as well. We can just watch it the day after NAC one.
You can just watch like the whole like stream. When is it? 1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute.
1 minute. Watching free show. This is a good one. This is exciting. I know. This is your first time watching FNCS, right? No, this is my second time. Probably about an hour. Yeah. I have 190 subs now. Oh, it's 40 seconds. Chat, 30 seconds. Oh wait, I haven't seen that part. I've seen that part. Zach, come back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. There it is. Series 2025 FNCS Championship Series.
Hello and welcome to FNCS. It's Chapter 6, Season 1, and we are back, baby. It's Major 1, and joining me, Frankie Ward on the desk, are Levin, 2K, and Mini Minor. So let's bring them in now. omni-masking in. Hello, Levin. You actually did do a little bit of an omni-mask then. How was the teleportation for you? Feeling fresh?
Smooth. I think I still need a couple minutes to adjust, but I'll be alright. We got some time.
Mini Miner, you're more of a Typhoon Blade man.
Yeah, I am. I like to keep on the ground, keep traditional in my rotation, but it feels good to be
Yeah,
back
literally
doing the
Fortnite
shows again, man. It feels good to have Fortnite back.
And you know what's interesting to me is the past couple of years of FNCS, it's been all about duos. This is going to be my personal first season
And they're
covering
rating
trios. We're still a desk trio, and yet you still haven't
14
played with me
minutes.
yet. But we've got no
The first
time to
match.
discuss why that is and for me to be humiliated on the broadcast, because we actually want to hear from some of our pro players on their thoughts about the biggest changes now we've headed back to trios.
What's been the biggest chance?
I think the most significant change I've seen going from duos to trios is,
This is one of them, yeah.
how much longer people can survive without materials. Because people really love spraying a lot more, and there's a lot more refreshes, but there's not as much materials being spread out. So people just love to use their armor. I've never noticed it so much. People love their
This is
spray.
probably
And,
pre-recorded.
it's less shotgun oriented
This
and more playing as a
tiny
team and
little
spraying.
video.
I think the most significant change
Easy.
from duos to trios is that it's
Crazy.
way easier to be consistent in trios, I feel like. So where in duos you used to have a lot of upcoming teams competing, I feel like in trios it's 5 very strong teams that you have to compete against every time.
The most competitive change from duos to trios is, I think, definitely I think the skill gap is way bigger in trio. So if you're a good trio, you'll do good compared to a duo. You can be a good duo and not duo as well, but if you're a good trio, you just do well in every tournament.
So,
There we go. Well, Trippin, I love the fact that he's if you're an established trio, you're going to do well every tournament. And Trippin has made it through to Major 1 with his partners, Fredoxy and Thomas, in 99th place. What's the significance of coming 99th, Mini Miner?
Well, they're actually now in group number 3, so we don't get to see those guys today, but yeah, quite ironic how he says that. But they all make very good points there, right? About how trios, you're going to have a little bit more materials, of course, an extra person's worth of loot to get to that end game. You're going to have an extra person's worth of heals as well, Levin. So almost it makes it a little bit easier to get further into the game, but everyone else is also a trio, right? You're not the only trio, not everyone else is
first
duos.
match.
Right. It's funny hearing them say that. My good friend Sundown, right, used to be on the show. He used to always say Fortnite's a resource management game, right? It's all about who can get to end game, the most stacked. And so when you have that extra person, I feel like it probably does feel like you can add a bit of extra consistency to your game. So there's no, surprises as to why they're all saying that.
Do you think that the challenges of Surge are going to be something that particularly puts the newer trios to the test this season, 11?
I think there's an element of that, right? But Surge has been difficult every season for the past couple years now, right? So you sort of have to figure things out. Duos, trios, teams will get the damage however they need to.
And then the other factor with these trios is the fact that there's not just 2 of them communicating amongst each other. There's going to be a third voice in the mix. So let's hear again from our players.
How do you measure the communication?
The team chemistry and communication, it was always just about playing a lot together and maybe talking outside the tournaments, just talking as friends and just talking about how your communication was in the tournament and just overall just playing a lot together and just figuring everything out.
I mean, I feel like trios was always my upper hand rather than duos. But with my trios with Immersive, we haven't been playing for that long, so right now we just build chemistry by having good vibes, enjoying playing together, and just having fun.
How I developed my chemistry with my team, over the last month I've been playing with them is, it's a bit harder because they're fluent German, so
Talking about
it takes time
communication.
getting adjusted to things and for example, when I'm dead and they're duo clutching, they'll just speak German. So it's a bit hard to communicate with them at times like that. But it's nice that we have a coach who can chime in who's also German, who can tell me what they're saying and give me help me understand things a bit more. But it's been about mostly keeping it fun and lighthearted, because sometimes you have to remember you are playing with people who are younger. I'm 20 now, I'm a bit more experienced, and that's the harder side, keeping it fun. Because I see this as, you know, a career, and they're not seeing that at that level yet.
I love that Venno is just like, okay, yeah, it is business, but I've also got to remember to keep it fun for my trio because I'm old now. I'm 20. I've got to be responsible, Levin.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's funny hearing Venno say that because I know he's had some struggles in his trios at times, trying to be almost that babysitter. But you know, you got to do what you got to do, really.
Yeah, and he makes a great point there as well about communication and language barriers. I feel like it's often so overlooked with people that watch competitive Fortnite. We don't get to necessarily hear the comms too often. So it's like, particularly in Venno's case, of course, he was speaking about the teammates, of course, being German, speaking German. There are other trios that have had that as well. Sky and Scroll, of course, would have spoke Danish when they play with Refsguard. Now they're playing with iDrop. They have to switch to English, I'd imagine. So that is such an important element of Fortnite that just often gets so overlooked.
And
no,
yet,
it's
oh no, go on, Levin.
Yeah.
No, it's super underrated, right? I feel like when people don't realize it, just because again, a lot of these guys maybe can speak in English as their second language and do it well. But when you look at the history of FNCS winners, right, the overwhelming majority are people who are able to speak in their native language. And when you look at the people who beat that trend, right, the likes of the Queasies, the Taysons, the Vennos, what's the trend amongst them? It's literally like the best players ever, right, to reach the mountaintop while not speaking in their like first language, or not Venno actually, but you get what I'm trying to say. So it's not easy to do. It's super, you know, important to have good communication.
It really is, and yet somehow I've ended up managing to get this job despite the fact that my communication sorely lacking at times. But you know what? We have two casters who never are lost for words. Returning to Europe, best region, it is the best Taco and Takata.
Thanks so much, Frankie. But hey, give yourself a pat on the back as well. I mean, the desk would not be the same without you there. I'm sure Levin and Miniminer could agree. But Takata, me being back in EU, home sweet home, it is not the only change that we have happening for this chapter, because in comparison to Chapter 5, we're seeing the shakeup now. It's no longer focused around series points for the format. Instead, we're doing things a little differently.
Exactly. Let's actually take a look here. So instead of opens and semifinals, we now have the play-in stage and the group stage. Play-ins, 99 trios will qualify from into the group stage, and the main difference here is now they are 3 different set lobbies. To qualify from these set lobbies to the major finals, you either have to get top 5 on the leaderboard or take home one of those 5 potential victory royales. The remaining 3 trios will qualify from the last chance, and that will have our total 33 trios in the major finals. But Taco, major finals are a little different from last season.
Yeah, we're not going to see that 1.5 times point multiplier any longer on day 2. So both days, while always crucial, now you just means that you can't have that fallback option in case you're trying to make up for some lost time. But that's enough emphasis on the format. Right now, let's get back to focus on some trios at the desk.
Thank you so much, guys. So there you go. Consistency is going to be even more important than ever when it comes to our major finals. Let's, though, have some early predictions from our analysts. Or rather, let's have some from Miniminer. Because Miniminer, you put together your top 5 predictions for winning Victory Royales today across our 5 matches.
Yeah, that's right. I decided to pick 5 teams that I think are going to be winning a game today. Historically, my predictions have always gone very well. So let's have a little look at what these are going to be, of course. Number 1 on the list, Levin, iDrop, Sky and Scroll. The best team so far in terms of the play-ins. They won that week. They had 4 wins in the play-ins as well. They only played 16 games, so a quarter of the games they actually managed to win. I think this is a no-brainer for a Victory Royale today.
It's good to see you still sticking with iDrop after all these years of him letting you down in predictions. Look, it's a no-brainer. I think many people look at this group and they instantly look at iDrop and Sky and Scroll, and with the form they've been on, you know, they won the play-in, right? So this is clearly the team most in form here in the EU. I think they're likely to win a game. And the beauty of them is they win games in so many different ways, right? Of course, this season, high ground has been like one of the most obvious ways to win games. We're seeing teams play height from early, and this is an example of a game where they do it so well. The zone pulls towards the island, they play for the island one, so they're gonna obviously have that in this coin and a bunch of other, you know, loot and whatnot. But then they can TP, use the Oni TP to get into a good spot where they can build up for height, invest a lot of materials. Scroll getting a bit PC with his scroll wheel buy and still have no idea how he does that. But ultimately, right, it's all about, you know, investing your mats in these early positions, making sure you're aware of the different zone pulls, so if it does pull away from you, you can TP into a good spot to stop other teams from taking it. And they just do it so well this season.
Yeah, I mean, that's highlighted right there on that screen. You could sort of see exactly where they're positioned. They were looking out for each other, making sure that teams can't just triple TP up onto height, which is a real danger this season. So playing height is certainly a bit of an art this season, and having that chemistry that this trio have is absolutely vital. And that's why they're the team that had the second most victory royales when it comes to the play-ins, because they just have all of these different facets, all these different strings to their bow. And one of the other strings, of course, that they have is the low ground, the way that they're able to play when things don't necessarily go their way with the island, when they can't build up and get that high ground early on. They use their frag abilities to their advantage on low ground and really pick up so many eliminations and therefore so many refreshes as well.
Yeah, look, this game was, I think, is a great example
Bro
of how
got
they
one
use it, right?
ammo.
You can see them there making sure to claim space on the opening side of the zone, waiting for these players to drop down. In this specific clip here, right, you see Sky tarping ahead, using the chug splashes that they had this season to claim that position, give them more time to fight and look for refreshes. They're making sure to use those Sentinel pump shotguns and the incredible amounts of structure damage that it deals to be able to secure refreshes as well. And again, just making sure they're just using everything available to them in this season as efficiently as possible to win from high or low ground.
Well, you've convinced me, Mini Miner. I'm pretty sure that these guys are going to be taking a victory royale today. But what about the other 4 names on the list? So Teeny, Skibbery and Haris, that's an interesting trio. It wasn't necessarily a trio I expected to see competing, I guess, at the start of Chapter 6. Why have you put them on the list?
Well, I mean, if you look at them on paper, you think this is a fantastic trio. They're going to absolutely dominate and do incredibly well. And I still think they will do that, hence why they're on my list. But so far, not so good for this trio. They've actually only made 1 out of the 3 possible weekly finals that they could have made. In that actual weekly final, they placed 31st, which is not ideal at all. But the reason why I think they can win and they should win today is the fact they just full send high every single game, Levin. They are a team that can do that. They have it in their locker, and they're actually the team in the lobby with the most wins in all of the finals that they've had, whether it be divisional finals or, of course, those Eval finals as well. So they have it in their locker. I don't think it's going to be consistent from their 11, but I think they will win.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair pick. I think a lot of people would agree with you on that one. I like you also taking Vanya, right? Vanya, Pixie, and Marius are a team that have looked very good in the little we've seen from them. Of course, it's been a weird journey for them, right? Because they sort of started with Marius, dropped Marius for Chap, played worse with Chap, then picked up Marius, started playing good again. You know, were contested in the final and still came second. Like they've had a bit of a rocky journey here, but ultimately in this lobby, I think a lot of people expect them to do well. If you actually look at the stats when it comes to this type of format, where it's like a win and you're in, reboot round style, Vanya has some of the highest win rates of anyone all over the world. So
I would love to see Mini Miner's predictions, though, for the top 5 teams that aren't going to win a victory royale today, but will be incredibly consistent in terms of getting to those end games and picking up the points. So, who have you got for us, Mini Miner?
Yeah, this is a little bit more difficult to choose because, of course, anything can happen when it comes to consistency. Any zones could play in team's favor or otherwise. But one team that I think is a shoo-in to qualify today through consistency is Trulex, Tayson, and Chicho. This is a team that have so much power when it comes to their experience. I think what they lack in that sort of fragging ability, they just make up for in their brains. They're landing at Foxy center of the map, surge bases that we know that Trulex and Chicho are known for. Actually picking up Chicho, I think, has just bolstered this trio even more, Levin. But I just don't think they've been a winning trio so far. They only managed 1 out of the 20 games that they played in the play-ins. And I think with their position on the map, they're absolutely guaranteed to make it into that end game and qualify through consistency.
1 minute till match 1, chat.
They aren't a team that's winning a bunch of games. I would say, you know, if most people had iDrop, Sky and Stro as the best team in this lobby, I'd probably say these guys are the second best, right? They've looked really strong together. The only reason I'd maybe disagree with you and say I could see them winning a game is just the fact that, like, the lobby quality. I think, like, when you look at the overall lobby and the level of player in here, I think they are just so high up there that eventually they're going to make it to enough of these end game stacks that they find that right win condition and pick up a win. Either way, though, they're going to qualify. I'm confident of that today.
When I look at these names, though, especially when I look at Trulex and Chicho, I think that they're really land-proven players, right? I would expect them to get a victory royale if they were all competing on the stage. Do you think that that's something that really hypes them up? Are they not as strong or competitive when they're online, Levin?
I don't know if maybe we can draw that conclusion.
starting
But,
after this
you know,
talk.
I think you're spot on in saying, especially in Trulek's case, right? He's one of the best LAN players of all time. With you look at his track record, so I don't think online will phase
Match
him too
one
much. I think
starting
he just wants to get
almost.
the job done.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how all of our teams get the job done, and I can't wait to hear our
ready
newest
to.
commentating duo in Europe casting their voices over the action. So, boys,
Boom.
without further ado, let's get game one underway with
Yes.
Takata and the best
Here
taco.
it is.
Thank you so much, Frankie. You know, first of all, congratulations, Taco. You're back on the best region, EU. How does it feel to be back?
It feels great. I think it is hilarious though the way that everybody just has to put the emphasis on the best. I don't want to get full betrayal just yet, the NA like that. But no, I'm definitely excited that Takata. I mean, we're seeing group stage #1 kick off here today.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We already had the play-ins. The battle bus is already ready, so let's kick off Group 1.
Yes. All right, here it is. Here it is. Here it
And
is.
look, Takata, it's been building for a while now. Every single one of our teams competing here today, not willing to risk leaving it up to that last chance qualifier.
Oh yeah, if you took a look at the drop map, we do have some interesting
Ziffy,
contestations
Roger.
coming through, but we are going to be starting it off at Winkle Terrace
Yeah, this is
with
trios.
Marine here. Just one other trio
Last
contesting. though.
year were duos.
Yeah, I know part of the play for Marine, Dirty, Ziffy,
JD34.
they're going to have to keep an eye
Virgin
out.
and YouTube
Seems
Ziffy.
like Sakura Stadium's still
So
going to be
there's two
something
trios
left up
in,
for grabs later on, a
Jungle
little bit
Terrace.
further west if they want to try and pick up more on their medal, but bit of a stalemate so far. Neither side really willing to push the other just yet.
Right. In these situations at various different POIs, you know, you have times
Suns.
where there's a far superior side that both trios might just try
there they are, there they are.
and potentially 50-50. But when you're in these set
They're gonna
lobbies,
fight soon.
sometimes you might just want to stick to your roots. You have your loot path already
There's
set
Jody's
up.
up
You
there,
have
and then there's
your kind of
IGSOs.
strategy to try and come out on top in this early
Well,
game. So we'll see if the
where's
aggression
that
comes
Jaja?
through. But
They're gonna get the
from what
box.
I'm seeing
Oh,
now,
they're
is
fighting. They're
Ijo
fighting.
is not in a good position.
Fending for his life currently, considering Trexer Robin though could potentially be revived here, but Hijo, he's not going to get the space, losing a lot of hard mats, basically what he has left here, but he's trying to commit to this revive. Now finding the walls just continue to be aggressed on by Frix, but Frix refusing to let this revive happen onto Robin, and finally he breaks through. Frix will find that final elimination. Trio successfully eliminated, but it doesn't look like Frix has been left in the greatest situation either. Solo will be able to play for the reboot, but that's
there's
bound
just
to draw
a-
attention from elsewhere.
Yeah, so far I didn't see anybody close by. This is going to be big. That is where Night Rose is at, so they will hopefully be able to finish that up, clean it up, but we are going to move towards iDrop's trio here, which are looking incredibly peaceful. No danger in their surroundings so far. But if we look here, the Spanish trio,
Spanish
Tramsuit,
trio.
Clone, Case, all fully up here, looking healthy at the seaport. But this couldn't last too long.
And Kay's having a bit of fun on socials at the expense of Splash's trio. A little bit of a drop
What is that you're
situation that could be the real thorn of the side for Mirus, Shrift, Splash, but what matters is their fighting capability. And right now, completely smothered to the low ground, it's going to be difficult for them to actually find an opening since they're playing for that lack of elevation.
Ryan seems to have gone down here. Is going to be fully eliminated. But this engagement is just getting started as the Oni mask is going to be used to take high ground. Now shots from above trying to pinch out the player, single him out. Do what you can to clean this up.
Oh,
As they will be able to secure the knock. Quick elimination onto Ziffy. Not a single teammate has gone down. It's all about efficiency in this early game. You want to be able to clean up these fights as quickly as possible so you can continue on your loot path if you haven't finished looting, or if not, get ready
Jody's
for that surge path. They are going to use
a little bit
a
far
water
away
sprite though
from.
to heal right
Not
back
that
up.
far away
And
from the.
I'm not even sure if they're going to hunt down that last player or just maybe get a bit more centered. as the game continues.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking about
Let's
efficiency as far as
skybasing.
group
Why
paths
is
are concerned
skybasing?
and capitalizing on these quick fights, but that was the problem for Marine's trio. They weren't able to actually close out that exchange at Twinkle Terrace initially up against Syla and Nazik, so instead just pounced upon and
What?
Gorditi, Scary Sean, John, they just get that perfect prime opportunity to secure their surge early on by just third partying. And that far on the outskirts, it's highly unlikely they're gonna have to worry about teams being able to rotate behind them now either, so they might even be able to just prioritize fishing at this time.
Yeah, it is a crucial part of this meta, trying to fish as much as you can for those shield fish, which then you can use to recuperate the shield you lose, getting those Storm Surge tags. We've seen also the Oni mask being used a lot throughout this season, because
Yeah,
you can kind of
definitely.
spread out a bit more than you'd normally be able to find tags from various angles as we look at
Oh, they're about
potential
to...
engagement forming here.
they're
Teeny,
attacking.
Hatred,
Oh,
Scurry,
God.
looking for an angle here. Does have that Typhoon Blade in hand to get a bit more elevation on their jump, but no shots are going to connect yet
Oh,
as they continue to look for an opening.
dropping.
Just a Typhoon Blade versus Void Oni Mask classic. Teeny at least gonna try to see if he can make a play for the high ground, but Mystic being able to teleport up there, so much easier for him to just reconvene with the rest of his trio. Maxi, Prax, now also gonna look towards the high ground. 6 Chili Chug splashes, so they could get aggressive here if they wanted to. The question is whether or not they feel like they've got the fighting power to match that from Hatred, Ski, and Teeny, because while Mini called it, they haven't necessarily had the most successful season so far here at Takata. They're still a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any engagement is going to come through. They had the pre-Oni mask set up in case they were going to get pushed, but it wasn't an aggressive Oni mask. It was more like a defensive one, just getting ready to combat the push that never ended up happening. So we'll see what for 9X Force and Rabana doing now, as it looks like they are incredibly healthy, loot-wise, shield-wise, material-wise, basically everything you need to just continue forwards and now start looking for a bit more damage.
Bound to have noticed the surge base off in the distance though, but what's really drawn them closer up is the shots fired. Gova, Seren, Kifa as well. Currently dealing with the French trio, Nosif, Nate, and Nazen, and this battle taking place here on the mountain range. So it'll be a lot easier for one of these teams to essentially spot out if they're getting pressured anytime soon here from a third-party circumstance. But Nazen, he's been a little bit too far split from the rest of his trio. He's getting 2v1 currently.
I hope Nazen has an Oni mask. I hope he has some sort of escape here, because especially in trios, if you're in a 3 versus 1, it's incredibly hard to get out of the situation. Triple sprays, triple shotguns, anything they possibly can to get some shots in the door. But they are gonna have to clean up this fight if they want to continue moving forward. They're just giving more time for their opponents to get closer and closer and kind of support their teammate that was singled out, and it looks like they might have just taken too long, or they didn't want to take that risk.
It's honestly Tayson, Trulix, and Chicha that I'd be the most concerned with, because that mountain span from Foxy Floodgate has prime viewing towards his mountain range hero spanning over the base tunnel, and so Nosif, Nazen, they know they can't afford to stay out in the open for much longer, but that rotation might lead them straight into the hands of Teeny's trio, and they already had to expend quite a lot of mats for a fight that just fizzled out into a whole lot of nothing. Maybe they got some surge tags, but not sure if it was enough for it to really be capable for them to just focus on rotations.
Yeah, only time will tell. A lot of materials were used for that engagement, and I'm not even sure if it is worth it, but I believe I saw some Oni masks being used to disengage here. They are inside of the storm, as second zone is going to come to a close here shortly. Nothing to be too worried about yet. You can see the 4 shield fish in the inventory, making use of that. But so far, I don't think we'll see anything too game-changing from this trio here as they just continue to disengage.
Live streams don't have adverts.
Have to keep eyes though on Shark, Ju, and Andy. Shark especially has just been so impressive. He's had a pretty dominating chapter 6 so far, Takata, even when it comes to like the solo Cash Cup performances, the eval finals for example, and really excited to see how he continues to operate alongside the rest of his team.
Chat, who do you think's gonna win?
Still 89 players up. Only 3 trios have gone down.
Because I don't know, man.
It's almost looking like a major finals already, as we see a lot of trios on the edge of zone here. They're healthy, but no metal, basically. Could use more materials. As now, kind of the hunt for surge, the hunt for damage is what Teeny's going to be looking for.
Why does it feel like every time we pan over Teeny, though, he's always crouch walking up onto someone? This guy is just the element of sneaky as can be. But Teeny, he might have caught a little bit more attention than what he bargained for. Immediately going to be forced back towards the bottom of his current boxes with the rest of his team. But they do have an ample amount of resources. It's just an early expense of their shield that they probably would have preferred to avoid. I mean, that's a big part of the reason why you're looking for those sneak up plays in the first place. You want to get the damage without compromising the rest of your utility in the process.
Yeah, this is one of the trios that, you know, I would expect to get a VR in this group 1. They are actually the only trio in the lobby that has 2 set lobby VRs already this season throughout the eval cups, throughout the divisional finals. So, I mean, I see them as strong competitors to take home even potentially this game number 1. As a quick reminder, it is going to be 5 matches that are played out. The ways to qualify are 1 through consistency, place top 5 on the leaderboard after those 5 matches conclude, or, you know, just get a victory royale. And that kind of opens up the opportunity of, hey, whoever gets this first victory royale, if they're uncontested, going into next match, there might be an open drop spot. So we'll maybe see some changes as time goes on and these matches continue.
And, you know, Levin made a call earlier about, we're talking about, you know, lobby qualities essentially. And I think for a lot of these teams, some of them being a little bit newer faces essentially to this set lobby kind of format, I think that that's where we can expect to see some of this hesitancy coming through Takada. A lot of teams not necessarily wanting to be some of the first elimed, but that means that that surge damage threshold is gonna start to be pretty heavy-handed against these teams. It really just depends on who's actually been able to stabilize themselves with their surge damage so far.
Yeah, I mean, 86 players still up, getting closer and closer to that 4th zone. This is a match. I'm excited. This is what I've been waiting for. Talk of the group stage is always something special. As we'll take a look once again. Well, I was gonna say Teeny's trio, but they're close by here. As we look at Kerwa's fan, which is Hedra, but you know, I'm just gonna call him his fan for this game. Alongside Hyper. We'll see if they're able to continue with the dominance they've had from the early game. I don't want to make the caster curse a reality though, as they do get cracked instantly from Teeny's trio.
Yeah, big factor working against Kiro's trio is the fact that they've had to go cross-country for this one, right? Essentially starting off at Whippy Warp, now all the way over in Pump Power, and this zone just appears like it's going to keep pulling over this mountain span, keep pulling closer and closer to that water line that spans around the outskirts of like Shattered Span and the like, and it's not easy to play these water zones either, Takada, especially if you don't have that Void Oni mass to depend on, because teams are just having to utilize so much more resources than what they would like to. And even Teeny's trio, a little bit worse for wear as far as that material count is concerned. They need to take a fight and they have to win it out.
Right, I mean, before you had the water boon, but that's no longer in competitive, so now you want to get that shield back. It's either Water Sprite, Shield Fish, or Minis, but as the aggression continues, Atris, Teeny, Skavi, making sure to poke from various angles. You don't want to all enter from the same wall if you're not looking for a triple spray or triple shotgun. You want to just find individual angles, try and cut off one of your opponents, do whatever you can to either get a crack or get a knock and give you that upper hand in this fight.
1 above and 2 below. It's Ego, who finds himself pincer currently between Teeny and Svi, trying to see if he can get some support metrics coming through from Kenti, but so far, no good here for Teeny. He needs to break through this floor, and Kenti finally going to give that support aspect for Ego. Now Hatris, one more time, trying to apply that separate angle pressure here, Takada, but Again, the longer this draws out, the easier it is for somebody else to poach the goodness. And Atris finally gonna find himself on the receiving end here, though. But Teeny just Typhoon blading through, and it's gonna be success. Whether it looked a little bit crazier than what we would have anticipated, that's one pack of punch from the Typhoon Blade.
What an entrance. I was going to say, you know, we're in trios now. Pre-edits are going to be a lot more prevalent. They look like they have no materials. I was expecting maybe a pre-edit play to come through. Issue is when all the trio knows where you are, pre-edits are more kind of a sneaky strategy where you do it when your opponents aren't expecting it. So the Typhoon Blade right in looks like worked out for them this time. So are going to be able to get that refresh, continue on into the zone. It is 4th zone, so we will be able to see that Rift Island appear here shortly and maybe see some plays be made.
If there's one team that I would definitely anticipate to make a play for that Shogun's Arena, it's going to be Sky Scroll and iDrop. And they have it more often than not than any other team I've seen Takata as far as endgames are concerned. And not only that, but when they're this far above in the surge damage threshold, as is 1067 to be exact, they've got more than enough time to essentially secure which direction they want to head, even if that means heading for that Shogun Arena.
Let's take a look at a replay from Maxi here, as it looks like a quick free knockdown. And we take a look now at the Rift Island once again. We talked about it. It's going to be Hyper, Kerwa, and Hedra. As a reminder, if you're just tuning in here from last season, there is kind of a boss now on this Rift Island, which is Shogun X, that does drop a medallion, which will give you infinite stamina and invisibility while you're sprinting, alongside some extra loot and shield. So we will see trios kind of every now and then battling for that, as we take a look once again at Teeny, Skavi, and Atris, who have taken an elevated position, but they're not in zone yet, so it is a good time to kind of plan out their rotate with all the vision that they currently have.
And that last fight seems to currently be the saving grace right now for Teeny's trio, but they're not going to waste any time. They're going to keep trying to see if they can find those third-party Surge Tech opportunities. Team fighting just below them. All the while, True Lich Chicho Tayson currently boxed up underneath Shattered Span Bridge. Tarky, though, in a little bit of a tough situation here. Pinched between the waterway and separate teams on both sides of these hill spans. It is looking like a very grim situation there. Tayson, True Lich Chicho probably just waiting for an opportunity to move in closer, gather the goods after he gets eliminated.
This is interesting. Pixie, Vanya, Marius are 126 below. And I mean, seeing that Vanya is part of this trio, he has a 20% win rate in these reboot style matches. So you know that they're going to be playing for that victory royale. I mean, Vanya was the only player who qualified for all 3 EU FNCS 2024 major finals by winning a semifinals game, by winning a match in this type of format. So it's all or nothing for this trio. They need to get this damage. They have the loot they need to close it out. But if you get affected by Storm Surge, if you're unable to do enough damage, they're not going to be able to bring it to the end game, as shield fishes are getting used. Vanya goes down. Marius is already eliminated. Pixie is now left alone. A miracle is what he needs to get out of this situation, as another shield fish is going to be popped. The zone is going to be closing in as the pressure is on, and Pixie needs something crazy to happen.
And Pixie just needs to bail at this exchange. Pixie versus Pixovsky. There can only be one, essentially, and Pixovsky, Baggercry, Vanchki, they're going to defend their position quite handedly there. It's surprising as well, because Marius, Vanya, there's a lot of fighting power in that trio, so for them to be in such a battered position, struggling to try and maintain that surge damage threshold, tells you that something went horribly wrong in that early mid-game.
Yeah, curious to see how it looks in the upcoming matches. Kind of see how they play it out, if they change anything or what maybe is going wrong. But so far, to focus on the moment, Hyper now 106 above. Not too comfortable. I mean, they are in the zone, which is a good position now to find tags, find options on all the other trios in the surrounding area. But it looks like Axe Force is going to be going close here. Raban closing space, gets straight into the box, but he's going to be cracked as well. as now Raban has to take some time to heal up. No player has gone down yet.
Yeah, you just have to be so careful when you're actually choosing to just barrel into some of these boxes. Palm can be menacing, but for me, Takada, this is the team with the Shogun Medallion. Hyper, Hedra, and Kira, they could look to play this much more aggressively than what they have been. And granted, it could just be they're trying to just size themselves up for a better position. Don't want to be playing it necessarily from the low ground, but infinite stamina and invis, that is just so much fighting power behind it. I would love to see them get more aggressive with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for finding those angles in kind of unexpected situations, but when you see the whole trio coming close, you do have to be careful, as it looks like iDrop's trio here did secure a quick refresh, good amount of damage. We are in 7th zone, so this is 5 damage per second out of the zone and 40 players for Surge to be active, so there's still 12 players that need to be eliminated, which
And, like,
means
two-
nobody's safe
Zac and like
unless you're that trio
Storm
up
Surge.
top, who was, I believe, almost
it's
1,000
okay,
above Storm
so-
Surge, so
Yeah.
Yeah, getting a chance even take a look back. We knew Pixie was practically full shambles when we last left off, and iDrop Sky and Scroll, they're going to waste absolutely zero time with picking off what was left of them. True Legs, Chicha, Tayson, though, a lot of these teams, I think this is where resource management becomes so pivotal, because it is very easy to lose track of how many mats you're actually expending over these water zones.
100%. 92 above for Tayson, Trulex, Chicho. I mean, Levin Mini, we're talking about this on the desk. Tayson's only picked up 1 victory royale in the play-in, so far this season as well, based on their playstyle, I think it's more likely that they do qualify through consistency instead of getting a victory royale. But anything's possible in this group stage, as right now the main focus is just getting more damage.
Seems like Tayson, Trulix, and Chicha have also caught wind of the fact that high ground not necessarily fully established just yet either, but I would definitely wager that iDrop Sky Scroll, as we approach that 8th, 9th zone, can look for a possible early high take. And right as I say that, X-Force, Robob, F9, they're going to be a team that's currently in the most likely position to try and hold on to this hype, but they've also got to make sure that they're suppressing all these other teams from encroaching upon their current layer.
So this one's interesting. 8th zone, you can see the zone is fully inside the storm. A lot of players here will sometimes kind of pre-fire their Oni masks to get themselves a position on the less congested side, but the issue is you don't want to miss out on those tags. The longer you stay in zone, the longer you watch all these trios rotate, the more openings you're going to have to get more damage. So if you're not healthy in damage, you have to give up a bit of that time where you could be rotating to look for those tags. But on the contrary, if you already have a lot of damage, it's all about that rotation. Try and be the first trio to get in zone. But Axe Force for 9, they're already down. They're already knocked, eliminated, as Raban now is forced to clutch it out as a solo.
Just didn't have as much material as they would have liked at that point, probably hoping that they could have found the better end of the fight instead. They're the victims. So now Rabob looking back, looking forward. He knows he is completely surrounded. He's just gonna hope to slip by unnoticed with a slightly later rotate, but does expose himself to being lobbied at that point. Cringe Mappy Gate on the other side, trying to see if they can get some elevated views, but Tayson, Trulix, Chicho, tried and true, working their way through the low ground currently. And they've got enough space, they've got enough mats, Takada, but what they want is more pressure into this congested side.
Good news is, it is trios here. They have a lot of firepower if they're able to find even a solo, a duo, that they can catch off guard here. All it takes, 1 triple shotgun, triple spray, even a triple pickaxe, just some sort of synergy here. But the good news is they already have so many materials, they don't have to risk anything really to look for these refreshes yet. It's more just continue staying ahead of zone, continue claiming space, and just, you know, staying up while all these other trios keep getting eliminated.
Cringe immediately gonna teleport front side of height, and this is so much hard material being expended currently by Cringe, Mappy, and Cade. You know that they want to control this elevated position. They're shooting down these Void Oni TPs as they're sliding through. They might even have a chance to connect here overhead, but Mappy, Cade, Cringe, all trying to do their best to monitor each other's angles. In fact, wager it's only a matter of time for Sky Scroll, iDrop. They're finally getting looked at here. They're not going to have the opportunity to try and play things through from that secondary height.
Good news for Cade, Cringe, and Mappy here is due to the environment, so many big buildings, there's not as many openings for these trios to kind of look for that triple Oni mask onto height, so they are continuing to apply a lot of pressure. Sky, iDrop, and his trio here are just kind of looking to find damage on the trios down below, not yet looking above, as they're going to continue to drop down now, potentially claiming ahead of zone, blocking off the tarps from their opponents, even tanking a bit of Storm to do so, but that's exactly what you need.
Look, if you can't immediately look for a height take, you might as well drop to the low ground instead and look to control things from there, especially since the desk already broke down just how excellently Sky, iDrop, and Scroll are able to manage the low ground in these types of circumstances exactly. But Atriox going to be the first to fall here. Teeny, V, they're just trying to break through all these pre-existing builds. The problem though, Teeny, he's headed straight for this front side of the low ground, has no idea what awaits him. Now he's going to catch a glimpse. iDrop, Sky, and Scroll. It's a full trio. Teeny forced to crouch it out, forced to play back. He can't continue to move forward like he hoped.
Especially as a solo, it's just not the right play there as Sky, iDrop are continuing to apply that pressure, finding Elim after Elim as they continue to tarp ahead, claim that space. iDrop doing an amazing job of trying to cut out his opponents here and capitalize on these situations.
iDrop, Sky Scroll, they are just moving as one unit, but with the way that this zone is pulling slightly over the hill, Truelex, we see him getting caught for a moment there in the mid-ground, but Sky, Scroll, iDrop, they took out Kira's trio earlier on, but now it comes at a cost here. Scroll is going to be eliminated. Sky, though, still has control of that Shogun Medallion, but Truelex, what a pump! He's gonna manage to work his way through just a little bit longer here. It's just so tough at this point, Takata.
Be careful though, high ground retake coming through. Now Mappy is forced to tarp ahead, look back up, try and shoot them down as Cade continues getting that pressure applied onto him, building up and up and up. The last shield fish is used. He is going to get knocked down. Mappy, Cringe now. Last two have to work together as a duo to try and chop down this high ground and do what they can. Issue is 0 materials, nothing to work with.
Mappy was hoping to get a piece out of iDrop, but the teleportation is going to save him just in the nick of time. Still 7 TPs left here for Mappy as well, but with no mats Takata, he's just got to hope for a miracle, and he finds one. Cringe as well, taking down Relvis, and now all Cringe needs to do is try and keep filing through this bridge, filing through Seaport City, but it's just so much mayhem coming from the high ground, so much pressure, but the low ground's breaking down as well.
Goes down now. It's a high versus low. It looks like the low ground might just be able to finish this off as Moni takes down one, gets the knock, looks for the last one, but is it a 1 versus 1? It is! And the turnaround! 5 eliminations, closing it off from height. Taco, what did we even just witness?
We just witnessed a trio that nobody had on their list for being a Victory Royale specialist here. Gorditi, Scary Sean, and Joanne find themselves with the very first security. And I mean, at the same time, it's hard to monitor the high ground from that position. So much mayhem just taking place there, Takata. But the low ground, that's what it really came down to, was just these teams picking each other apart. They never saw it coming from height.
It was a perfect retake from high ground. Las Cabras de España, the Spanish trio coming from above to close it out and secure our first Victory Royale in Group 1, claiming that spot in the major finals. I'm lost for words, Taco, so I want to see what the desk has in mind.
Thank you very much, guys. So, Miniminer, I don't think you had that trio on your list.
No, I didn't actually. So I've already lost the prediction. I thought I was really hopeful going into it, and it's already gone wrong. I was expecting Truelex, Tayson, and Chicho to win the first game, if I'm totally honest, because I thought that was how it was going to go, but it didn't go that way.
Well, we'll talk more about that after the break, but let's focus on that Victory Royale, because we did see Joanne's trio challenge that Cringe's trio, and it looked like they had to lose it. There was a crafty retake from Cringe's trio, but in the end, they were able to settle for the Victory Royale, Levin.
Well, yeah, I think when you look at how that game played out, again, it's something we didn't really touch too much on at the beginning
Right,
of the
don't
day, but
copyright
it's
me.
so important in these types of formats, right? In the win formats, we see it in the evals every week. When people are guaranteed success or progression or money through winning a game, they're gonna send it for height, right? Like, there's no element of let's play out our mats and see how it goes. No, you're gonna try and make the play that's gonna guarantee you the win, and most teams see that as height. Goldisi, Scary, and Jonah at one point during those moving zones looked up on height and looked at Cringe Mappy and Cade and said, wait, this is barbecue chicken, we can take this. They're on wood, they have no mats, and it just sort of worked out perfectly for them.
Chat, I'm at
You
end
saw how much
stream,
mats
actually,
Cade and them invested to secure height.
We're-
They didn't
we're
have
to
enough
the,
to keep it,
NAC
unfortunately.
tomorrow.
And so for the Spanish boys, they were able to just go up there and close it out. Still
As a
rather
video.
chaotic, right? You see on the
Yeah,
drop down
guys,
mini.
see ya.
You know, I've resonated with the casters there.